Hi, Wendy Hinman with the Daily Hope. We are in Colossians 4 today, and that is the end of the epistle to the Colossians. And so the Apostle Paul is going to give some instruction to the Colossians, and then he's going to send a lot of greetings and stuff for their time. But I want us to look at the 4 verses where he gives us instructions because they're very telling for our time. He says to them, devote yourselves to prayer, being watchful and thankful. And pray for us too, that God may open a door for our message so that we may proclaim the mystery of Christ for which I am in chains. Pray that I may proclaim it clearly as I should. So Paul just called Christ a mystery, and yet he wants to proclaim it clearly. And don't you feel that way sometimes if you're sharing the gospel? You know who Jesus is, you know he saved you, and you want to bring that to this other person. But it can be difficult. I think Paul is saying pray and then rest in it. And here's this turning. So Paul at the beginning of Colossians says that the Colossians heard the gospel, they were saved, they were growing in the fruit of the gospel. But then from between verses 4 and 5, we see this turning that he makes and an assumption. He has an expectation that these Colossians who heard the word, were saved, and are walking with Jesus would also share the gospel with those around him, just as he's asking prayer for. So he says in verse 5, be wise in the way you act towards outsiders. Make the most of every opportunity. Let your conversation be always full of grace, seasoned with salt, so that you may know how to answer everyone. So I want to tell you about my godfather, Hal. I had godparents who lived in Spring Valley in southern San Diego. There were 5 kids in my family, so it was really special to me that one week every summer I got to go down to Spring Valley and just be with my godparents and their one daughter who I adored. And it was just a really special time for me. And I thought I knew everything about them, but what I didn't know about my godfather was that he played professional baseball. I didn't know that. I knew he was good at hunting and fishing and camping. He was a man's man. He had a rakish good looks about him, but this I didn't know. And so one summer, and it was the summer after I had played Bobby Sox softball, first time I played for organized sports, loved it, and let me tell you, I was pretty good. I was pretty good, at least up here. And so when I'm down there in the summer, I go in the garage, I see some bats and some balls, I pull it out and I start, kind of dinking around. And he comes out and he goes, show me your swing. So I'm like, yeah, I'm going to show you how to hit a baseball. Yeah. So Hal sits down and he says, lift your right elbow. He goes, square your hips to the plate. He goes, when you swing, okay, like right there, he goes, step into it. And he goes, follow through. When the bat hits the ball, keep the motion going. You know what Hal didn't do? Hal never told me he was a professional baseball player. I read it in his obituary. He didn't tell me how good he was. He didn't say, I got it on you like this. I am right and you are wrong, so shut up and listen. He didn't do any of that. His words were full of grace, and they were seasoned with salt. He wasn't just Mr. Nice Guy. He was telling me. He's going, you gotta lift your arm. He goes, here, put your hands on the bat like this. Why? Because Hal wanted me to be able to hit a baseball with every muscle in my being. He wasn't trying to prove who he was. He wanted the best for me. And that's how we need to share the gospel, according to the Apostle Paul, who was as an expert in sharing the gospel as Hal was in baseball. So here's a challenge I want to give you today. I think I've given it to you before. I'll probably give it to you again. But I want you to go out, look at the people around you, and share the gospel with them. But have this mindset. Share it with grace, season it with salt, but have the motivation that you want this person to hear the saving gospel of Jesus Christ. Have this motivation that when you walk away, they don't think, man, that chick was good with words, but that they see Jesus and what he's done for them. And I can promise you this, if you go out and do that, if you share the gospel with someone today, you're going to have a really good day.